Hello, my name is Mark Jeffrey, and you are listening to episode 4 of the Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show, brought to you by MPC Solutions. Thank you for joining me on what is now episode 4 of the Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show, recorded February the 29th, 2017, from the studio on the hill in the beautiful, picturesque county of Cornwall. A podcast of my life, through a lens, aimed to inspire and possibly make you feel your life is ready for the next episode. Coming up on this show, I will be doing my best to give my opinion on ghosts and the existence after death. I also give my opinion on digital streaming and the changes musicians are having to make each day to succeed. We also have music from this week's unsigned artist, Thomas Bollinger, and Plymouth's finest, newest, freshest talent, Propeller. I'd like to start episode 4 off talking to you about my week, if you don't mind. I'm not going to go on about it too much, as I have a lot to come into tonight's episode. I've had a very up and down week, shall we say, since the last episode. If you listen to episode 3, you may remember me talking about an old friend popping over with his wife, Sam, and us talking about vlogging and the positivities it can bring to promoting your product. And how, when they left, I was absolutely buzzing. Well, the week pretty much carried on a high from there, to be honest with you. Thursday lunchtime, I launched episode 3, and no sooner had I uploaded my latest podcast, Libsyn, you lovely people at home were listening. And last week's viewing figures didn't equal previous episodes. They didn't double previous episodes, but they trebled previous episodes. You guys at home do not know what this means to me. Why, I just can't get it through to my head why you would want to listen to the rubbish that I talk. It is beyond me. But then I realised that I was actually being quite negative on myself. And perhaps some of these things I talked about may just be of an interest. And being an interest to you, it may just be helping you in your life. Just a reminder to any of you listeners, the Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show goes out on a Thursday, mid-afternoon, and can be found at Libsyn by typing in the Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show.libsyn.com. It is also on Google Play Music, YouTube channel, which is simply under Mark Jeffrey. It's also on SoundCloud, and you can also find me at Mr. Jaff 10 at Twitter. Please leave me as much feedback as you possibly can. Let me know how I am doing, good or bad. Good or bad. I want to know how I'm doing, and it just makes me understand if I'm doing it right. Every bit of feedback that you give me is fantastic. Moving on, I just wanted to briefly carry on talking about video chat, if you don't mind, and how huge it is. I was picking my boys up from school today, and I bumped into my next door neighbour. He's a lovely South African lad by the name of Blaze, and he has got a really, really, really interesting idea that he wants to get out there to brand his product. And he was saying to me, he says, Mark, he said, I need some advice. Do you know anybody that can give me some advice on where I can go from? I've designed the product. Now all I need to do is get people to notice it. And it kind of, I was looking at an article about video live marketing the other day, and they was talking about how companies how 2017 and 2018 is going to be massive. It's going to be massive. Video marketing is going to be massive. Did you realise that over 50% of marketing companies this year are looking into live marketing? They're going to be putting their products out live on media, things like Facebook Live. Facebook Live have spent over £50 million on promoting Facebook Live, getting Facebook Live built, getting the product out there. $50 million. Now, it kind of says when a company like Facebook are spending that amount of money on a product, they must believe in it. Nissan are also making adverts now involving live video, blogging and stuff like that. And don't forget those simple little meerkats. Where did that come from? Originally, that was put out on Periscope. So, Facebook Live. Last week on my episode 3, I mentioned to you about getting out there and getting on Facebook and just briefly talking to your loved ones, your family, your friends, and getting on there. And I was quite pleased because the day after I put my podcast out, I know a few of my friends listened to this, and straight away they were on Facebook Live, just talking and messing about and having fun with their family and friends. And it kind of like made me smile because I knew that some of the stuff that I was talking to, you guys at home were listening, and it was really good. And I don't know if you noticed in the week, but there's a band in the world, a big rock band called the Foo Fighters. Now, they done something massive in the week. They announced to the world that they were going to be playing this year's Glastonbury Festival. They were going to be headlining. I think it was possibly the Saturday night they're headlining. But they didn't go about doing it the normal way like Glastonbury does. Normally, Glastonbury put it up on their webpage, Foo Fighters, a headline, etc., etc. But they didn't do that this year. The Foo Fighters come all the way over from America, and they done a small, intimate gig at a pub in Frome in Somerset. They done a gig to 500 very, very lucky people. But not only 500 people, they done a Facebook Live announcement to the world, telling the world that they were going to be playing at Pilton Farm Glastonbury Festival 2017 on the Saturday night. I turned on the camera to watch this. I turned on Facebook to watch this. And there was, at the time, I think it was 41,000 people watching it. 41,000 people. So it kind of says, guys, doesn't it? It kind of says that you've got to get on there. You've got to market your product. You've got to market your product from the media that is live video vlogging, I think they call it, don't they? So in the week, I practiced what I preached, and I have been on Facebook Live talking a little bit about my life and what's been going on and all that stuff. But I was back to work on Tuesday after nearly 3 months off after my foot was operated on. That was the negative in my week. It was good to get back to normality, but it really, really wasn't good going back to a job that you don't enjoy doing. So that was, my year has started brilliantly with my podcasting and promoting myself, but that was the kick in the gut that I needed going back to work for me to realise that I don't want to be doing the job that I'm doing, and I need to get out there and start promoting myself and promoting others. Which neatly brings me on to tonight's unsigned artist. They are a band from Plymouth called Propeller. Propeller are an indie pop band stranded both sides of the Tamar, operating from Falmouth. Born in Plymouth, Propeller, easy for me to say, are all about the party. For fans of Two Door Cinema Club, Catfish and the Bottomman, Alt J and McFly, and you can contact them via facebook.com/Propeller Devon, or they're on Twitter at Propeller Southwest, or email propellerdevon@gmail.com. I'm going to play you a song in a while called Crocodile Tears, but before I do, Adam from the band sent me a very, very interesting question for me, and he wanted me to share it with you guys at home. Headlining digital streaming. And he goes on to say, we have moved to a platform in which individual sales of music no longer matter. We are musicians now only need to focus on volume of people and the traffic they bring through Spotify, iTunes and Tidal. My question to you, Mark, and your listeners, should we embrace the new way of the industry or should we resist? Interesting question there. Interesting question, Adam. Now, I'm not a musician, so it's very difficult for me to answer as a musician's on your side, but I can speak for myself, because in the week I decided that I want to make a go of podcasting. I want to make go of music, and I want to make some money from it. But starting off as a presenter, starting off as a podcaster, you need equipment. The equipment I've got here has cost me money, and I want to expand the equipment I've got. But you can't keep delving into that pot. It comes to a stage where that money runs out. So what do? You have to look at ways of funding your hobby, funding your product, funding your business. And lots of ways now that bands, presenters, etc. are going about doing this. Now, I was looking at making some money during the week via iTunes. Not iTunes, I do apologise, YouTube. Now, what you can do is you can put your video blogs onto YouTube and set up a thing called, I think it's Monetize or something like that, I think it's called. And what you do is every time somebody watches your video, you get paid for it. Now, I think that YouTube pay you for every 1,000 watches of your video, they give you $2. Now, that doesn't sound much, but when you get up into the thousands and thousands of people, if you're lucky to have thousands of people viewing your product, that's when the money starts coming in. So that's what I'm looking into. I'm going to be starting doing some video blogs. And I'm going to be putting them on my my page, my YouTube page, and I'm going to be just over the next few weeks seeing if there's any money that comes in. So, Adam, I can kind of relate where you're coming from. As a musician, you need to start making money. And gone are the days where to be successful and to make money, you had to go gigging, doing lots and lots of gigging, getting out there and getting seen. You can still go down that route and hope that loads and loads of people buy your albums. But realistically, that isn't going to happen. It is very, very difficult industry to be involved in. There's lots of people out there doing the same thing as you. So you can go down that route, but at the same time, you need to start making money. And it sounds to me like these guys are doing the same thing as what I'm trying to do, which is put their music on iTunes, Spotify, etc., and no longer worry about trying to sell loads and loads and loads of products to get the money in, but try to get viewers to watch and listen to your product. And the more people that do that, the more advertising you sell that's linked to your product. Is it the right way of going about things? Well, that's a question that I'm going to chuck to you at home this week. Is Adam doing the right thing, or should they stick to the old-fashioned way of selling albums, etc., units? Well, I'm going to play you a song of theirs now. The song is called Crocodile Tears. Check it out. Tell me what you think. Send me a message, jaff10@hotmail.com. Tell me what you thought of Propeller.
So far away from home, it's my
So there you go. What did you think of that? That was Propeller, a band from Plymouth. And I come across those guys about, it must have been about 2 or 3 years ago when I previously done my Remember the 90s show down at Eat Music in Plymouth. I got those guys in to do a 90s cover and had a little bit of a chat to them. And, in the short time that I've known them, 2 years, 3 years, possibly the max, they really have come on leaps and bounds and their style of music has changed. And I really, really do feel that they're one of the bands that I can see going places. So best of luck to you guys at Propeller. Question for you now, guys. Another question for you, and it's from somebody that I've been speaking to during the week, and it's our next unsigned artist. His name is Thomas. Now, forgive me if I've got your name wrong, Thomas. I'm terrible with names, and it's hard when you talk to people over the internet to know exactly how they pronounce a name. But I'm sure his name is Thomas Bollinger. And he's from Australia, and we sort of clicked in the week through the media, which is Twitter. Now, for all of you people that are trying to promote yourself, Twitter is a fantastic way of doing it. And I think he got in contact with me, and he sent to me some of his music, and it said he says it's a very depressing music that I play. So I checked it out because me being a fan of not Levelers, I do apologise. Me being a fan of Radiohead and the Smiths, so a lot of people say that you can't get any more depressing than that. So I put it on and I fell in love with his music. Absolutely fantastic. And I got back to him and I said, hi Thomas, can I just say, first of all, by saying how amazing your music sounds? And has anybody told you that you sound like something from the Smiths / Radiohead? And he says, Mark, thank you very much for those kind words. And it's really nice to have them chucked at me because that's the sort of music that inspires me. Straight away, we was on the same wavelength. And I'm going to play you a song of his in a minute. But before I do, he asked me a question. He asked me the question, what are your thoughts on the existence after death, and have you ever seen a ghost? Now, it's a very interesting one. It's a very interesting question. Have I ever seen a ghost? Well, the answer to that, Thomas, would be no, I have never seen a ghost. I haven't seen one, but I felt one. Now, years and years ago, I had a friend of mine that was a medium, a spiritual medium, and he sort of come into my life for a very short period of time, and he opened my eyes up to different things, shall we say. Meditation was one of them. And one evening I was living in an old house with my ex-girlfriend, and she had gone out, and I lit some candles in the bedroom, and I sort of laid on the bed and I started doing a bit of meditation, and all of a sudden I did come across all kind of weird, and straight away I felt something touch my arm. Bang, straight away I was spooked right out, man. Spooked right out, and I just got up straight away and stopped the meditation. That would be the closest experience that I've ever been to seeing a ghost. Now, do ghosts exist? I'd like you to get in contact with me, jaff10@hotmail.com, and tell me for next week's show, do ghosts exist? I can quite honestly say, like I said, I've never seen one. I've felt a presence of something, but there's so many people out there that have seen something that can resemble a ghost that you can't hide it. There must be something going on out there, and there's no, I do believe in spirits, and that sort of thing. I don't believe in going on to life after death. I don't believe that when you die, you go up to that cloud in the sky. So the question and answer to there is yes, about ghosts. I have felt a ghost. I haven't seen one. But existence after death, that is one that confuses me. It really, really does confuse me. So thank you very much for that question, Thomas. I'm going to chuck it open to you guys at home, and you can tell me your beliefs in ghosts and afterlife existence, and we will play it from there. But in the meantime, I'm going to play you one of his songs that he's done, and then after that I shall tell you a little bit about him, and I shall also tell you a little bit about his album before we close tonight's episode down. So here it is, Nothing at All, from the album Shy Ghosts.
Remember that day when it all seemed right. There were stones in our way that didn't seem so high. Was it time or complacency? Did I just miss the call? Now we pass the time searching for novel ways to say nothing at all, nothing at all, at all. Remember that week when it all went wrong, unable to speak, couldn't fix our song. Was it me or circumstance? Did I shrink, or did it just grow? Now I pass the time walking the other way, towards nothing at all, nothing at all, at all. 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 Nothing at all, at all.
So there we go. What an amazing sound that was. That was by an artist called TK Bollinger. Forgive me if I've got your name wrong. I do apologise, Thomas. And that was from the album Shy Ghosts. And there's 13 beautiful, beautiful tracks to check out there. And you can do that. You can do that quite simply by going to his page. And I will do my best to find it for you. Here it is. It's www.tkbollinger.com. Check him out. I mean, I cannot praise this man enough. I've been listening to his songs about 20, must be about 20, 30 times this week, and every song brought goosebumps to the back of my neck. So check that out. And if you want to know more information about this glorious, glorious album, get in contact with me, jaff10@hotmail.com. I say, Mark, tell me more about Thomas Bollinger, and I will do my very, very best to get you some information. Anyway, guys, I'm near enough at that time of the night again. I hope I haven't whittled on too much. You will laugh because, like I say earlier on, I don't edit my show at all. I am, by trade, for the last 3 years, I've been a radio presenter. And all of the stuff that I do goes out live. And currently, at this moment in time, I do my podcast here in the studio on the hill on a Wednesday evening. And the time is currently about 11:15. And I've had to do about 15 takes tonight because I could not get my podcast to sound right. And when I did finally get it podcast to sound right, I lost the lot. So it has been a very, very edited show, even though I don't edit, if that makes sense. But I promise you very, very soon, I will get rid of the ums and the ahs, and I will make my show sound a little bit more professional. But as somebody said to me once upon a time, Cliff Ravenscroft, the Answer Man, podcast Answer Man, he did say to me, he says, just get your product out there. And remember this one thing that I am going to tell you now, right? If you're thinking about setting up a podcast, I'll leave you with this one thought. Are you ready? Okay, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. There we are. I'll leave that with you tonight. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of the show. Thank you very, very much for tuning in, letting me pollute your ears for another half an hour. My name is Mark Jeffrey, and you have been listening to the Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show. Check us out on YouTube. You can check us out on iTunes, Libsynth, and lots of other medias. My name is Mark Jeffrey. You are listening to the Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show. And remember, your life may not be as strange as you think.